The 3-block stretch of South Front Street from Washington to Baraga is now filled with many of Marquette's iconic buildings and businesses. But over the past 150 years, it's also been home to some of Marquette's most spectacular fires. The Bacon Block was one of the great office buildings of post-1868 Marquette. Standing 4 stories high just south of the intersection with Washington, the Bacon Block was owned by Martin Vierling and was home to both stores and offices. On July 6, 1912, tragedy struck. A fire of unknown origin started in the basement and rapidly consumed not only the Bacon Block, but also a building next door that was owned by the Harlow estate. Almost 24 individuals fighting the fire suffered from smoke inhalation, and their efforts were hampered by hundreds of city residents who gathered to watch the blaze. Several dozen of those individuals barely escaped injury when the facade of the building collapsed just a few feet away from where they were standing. 30 years prior, and a block and a half south, the second home of Marquette's First National Bank also went up in flames. The bank, started by Peter White, lost its first home, the Burt Block, in the Great Fire of 1868. White, who had saved the bank's deposits by sending them out into Lower Harbor in a rowboat, then built a new home for his bank on the corner of South Front and Spring. It was a 3-story sandstone structure with then modern banking facilities. However, on the evening of February 2nd, 1885, fire broke out and quickly consumed the building. In a repeat of what they did in 1868, White and his bankers removed the cash and records to a nearby Chinese laundry, thereby saving their customers' life savings. White rebuilt the structure as a 2-story building, which served as the bank's home until 1927, when then Bank President Louis Kaufman moved it up the street into his new Temple of Banking that had just been built on the corner of Front and Washington Streets. The old bank building served as the home of Doc's Corner and other businesses until it was torn down in the early 1970s. It was about that time when one other major South Front Street fire occurred just across the street from the old First National Bank building. That structure housed Lord's Outfitters and had been around since the 1880s, beginning as the Tonella and Rupp Furniture Store and Funeral Home. On the evening of February 19, 1971, the Marquette City Fire Department received a call from someone who reported seeing smoke coming from the building. The fire spread quickly. The building's sprinkler system didn't work, while the intense amount of smoke and heat hampered firefighters as they tried to enter and move about the structure. After 12 hours, flames had destroyed the building. In all, it was estimated that the fire caused nearly $500,000 in damage. No cause was ever found, nor, at least for the time being, the reason why the building's sprinkler system didn't work. However, a possible answer to that question was discovered several weeks later when, according to fire department records, excavators began removing debris from the basement of the structure. It was then discovered that the main water supply valve to the sprinkler system had been shut off. The question of how or why the valve had been shut off has never been answered.